Hello guys and welcome to the Limitless Landscapers podcast. I'm Paula and today I'm talking about discounting, about site visit fees and also pricing. All of these topics have been hot topics for people I've been speaking to, some of my members, some people in the industry, and when scrolling through Facebook I saw an offer that just made me really want to record this podcast even more. So let's get down to the show.
As the founder of the Landscapers Circle and the Limitless Landscapers podcast, I am here to help you get more money, time, and freedom to make your life and business truly limitless. Through my experiences as the owner of a garden design and landscaping business, and through tried and tested methods, if you want help with the marketing, managing, and growing of your business, then you are in the right place. If you are a landscaper, garden designer, horticultural business, or a supplier to the industry, be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
So guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to this week's podcast with myself. And yes, I'm talking all about pricing and site visit charges, and also should we be offering discounts. Now, having run my own landscape and design business for 12 years now, I've tried lots and lots of different things. And one thing that I was part of a group a few years ago, and they used to really focus on heavily discounting. And it was the biggest thing that I said, I'm not interested in doing in my business, because it's a high value product. We value our skill. We value what we offer to our clients. And I just don't think it's the way forward. But all of their email campaigns would revolve around offering a big sales offer. And I'd forgotten all about it, to be honest. And then I was scrolling through Facebook, as you do. And essentially this advert arose: £500 off driveways and patios. Get a £500 or £300 discount on a new driveway or patio. Offer for all orders this month. And they do everything: block paving, resin, tarmac, concrete, sandstone, and much, much more. And it really irritated me, because I was like, they're not helping the landscaping industry by knocking money off. And also, it's not just about that. It's about what kind of clients are they going to attract with that sort of offer. One, that advertising on Facebook. And yes, that is a way to generate clients. And I'm not against advertising on Facebook, but it all comes down to your avatar. Now, your ideal client, now the clients that you want to work more with, not just the clients that you say yes to because you feel you have to, but the clients you want more of. Do they actually hang around on Facebook? I don't think mine do. And also, would they be tempted by an offer like that? Again, I don't think the clients I'm trying to attract would. And it is all about trying to elevate your business and attract better quality clients. And I just think an advert like that just completely does the opposite. Like I was saying, the group I was part of, they focus heavily on offering a sale of some kind. So whether that be money off or getting something extra. And it works in some businesses, but I do not think it works in the landscaping industry. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's have a discussion about this. If you do disagree with that, that's absolutely fine. But in my opinion, I just don't think that offering a discount when you're offering a high-end, high-value product is ever going to work out well. You're going to attract the wrong type of client. You're going to attract the clients that want a deal. You're going to attract the type of clients that are looking for something that's based around price. And as you well know, I do not believe my ideal client cares about price. If they did, they wouldn't probably book an appointment with us, because we do also charge for our time and our quotes, which is another interesting discussion. But essentially, we should be showing people the value of having a quality design and a heavily skilled, knowledgeable landscaper building that design and making it reality, not offering £500 off to get into what could be a pricing war with your competitors down the road. So that just really riled me up and got me thinking about that, and whether you think, offering a discount is a good thing. Like I say, I just think it's really a poor way to generate new clients. I think there's better ways you can generate clients, and I think there's better places you could advertise than using just Facebook ads as an example for that. However, if that is your client, if your client does hang around Facebook and that is the type of client you're going for, then by all means, go all in on Facebook ads. I just don't find my ideal client would be hanging around there. So yes, I think that's the first thing to bear in mind. Where's your client? So that was the first thing I wanted to speak about, discounts. And yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on that. But my second thing is charging for site visits. Now, I read a very interesting conversation on a Facebook group yesterday, and it's very mixed. Lots of people were saying they definitely would never charge because they might lose jobs. Some people saying they definitely would charge because it gets them better quality jobs. And some people were even saying they build it into their costing. So they put it as part of the quote if they get it. Now, that works on one level if you actually get the job, but if you don't get the job, you're still losing time, and time is in effect money. So I just wanted to put it out there as another possible discussion point, like where do you stand on site visit fees? I think it's been a game changer for us. It's been the best way to filter out poor quality clients and attract higher quality clients. Our conversion rates have improved hugely. And essentially, like I've spoken about before, I can't remember if it was on the podcast or a live, it could be anywhere. But essentially, I've talked about the fact that we all are building sales funnels, whether you call it that or not. But essentially, if someone buys something of lesser value with you, they're more likely then to go on and buy something of a higher value and a higher value from there on. So essentially, they start at the top of this funnel. People who are not your clients and who do not want to pay, they don't come into the funnel, they leave, and then obviously the funnel gets smaller, and then you sell them something very small, which for us is a site visit fee. They buy into that, and then they potentially buy a design, and then they potentially buy the build. So that's kind of the general, a very simplified funnel that you would use. Now, if you are not charging for site visit fees, you're going to get loads of people in the top of that funnel, and then you're going to have to weed them out by the point you get down to offering a design service and then build, or just the build. And of course, you will be spending time creating that quotation. Let's not beat around the bush. It takes time to research pricing, to get prices off suppliers, particularly in this type of climate where price hikes are going up all the time. Even fuel is going up, cost of living is going up. So all of our prices are going to have to rise to encompass this. And don't devalue the fact that you are spending time producing that quote for them, producing that work specification for them. And essentially, when you're driving around, you are spending money and you are losing time, and time is precious. Time is money. And I believe, and I think it's worked in our business, that even if you charge a nominal site visit fee, not only will your quality of inquiries go up, but your sales conversions will go up. Now, you do have to obviously monitor this. So some of you might not even have an inquiry log at the moment. I would suggest that would be the number one thing to put in your landscaping business, and log every inquiry. Shit inquiries, great inquiries, every inquiry that comes in, you need to put on that log so you can get a real feel for how many inquiries you get per month, how many of them turn into actual site visits, how many turn into sales, and everything in between. You can really analyze those figures and work out where you may have gaps. So maybe you need more sales training, maybe you need to offer something more valuable that the client will buy into, like why do they keep saying no if your sales conversion is down? Or like I say, insert a site visit fee and then watch the quality of inquiries improve, so you might get a higher conversion. But you can only do that when you start monitoring and tracking, and this is an important part of any business. Monitoring and tracking is key. And like I say, you need to put on every single inquiry, even if they're not an inquiry. So for instance, someone phoned up yesterday, they asked for artificial grass. We do not install artificial grass, so therefore I said we're not able to help them. However, that inquiry still gets logged on the inquiry form, and then it gets shown as we're not interested because it's not the service we want to give. And you have to just monitor that. And the reason it's so important is because you can change things really simply. When you've got the facts and figures in front of you, this is why knowing your numbers is absolutely key in any business, but particularly in our industry, because costs can be ridiculously high. is you need to know your numbers, and you need to know how many inquiries you're getting. You need to know how many inquiries you need in order to create the right amount of sales, which means knowing your sales conversion in order to hit your break even point and above, to ensure that you have a viable and sustainable business. So that's another thing to think about when you are debating the value of charging for your time. If you are struggling with the quality of inquiries, I would suggest that might be a route to go down. And like I say, it's trial and error, depending on how much you feel like charging. I think we should increase ours, so I am toying with the idea of doing that very shortly. But just remember that time is money. So, you know, if you're happy to go around for free and see 10 people on a weekend because no one's going to say no to a free quote, but your sales conversion is pretty poor, then I suggest you look back at how you are going to manage the quality of inquiries that are coming in, and be prepared to say no to people, or put a site visit fee in, which will allow them to say no themselves, which is quite a great concept. And the third thing I want to talk about today on the podcast is pricing. Now, I've had quite a few guys in TLC, part of our members, ask me to run through how I price jobs and what they should be mindful of. And I think the one thing that I think you need to all remember is your overheads. It can be a very overlooked item, and it certainly was for the guys that I was helping over in the Landscape Circle. The thing is, you need to have a handle on your numbers. So it all goes back to knowing your numbers, and then you need to track it. Now, in this instance, I would suggest doing a cash flow forecast. Now, we do have that tool available over at the Landscaper Circle. So if you are a member, you can go into the business topic and it is there for you, alongside lots of knowing your number information as well. So it will show you how to actually work out conversion rates and monitor where you're at. So I would absolutely recommend running a cash flow forecast if you haven't already. It took me 4 years to actually do that in my business, but since then it's been an absolute game changer. But particularly when it comes to pricing, because you actually really do need to know your overheads, and I mean every single overhead that you have, in order to be able to cost that into a job. Some people are just thinking about the labor cost and the material cost, and then possibly some fuel on top, but they're not thinking about the insurances you paid out for. They're not thinking about the advertising that you do, or any marketing you do, or the website that you keep on top of, or the call handling service you have, or the loans you have, the finances on trucks, all the costs of running your truck. So whether it's fuel or servicing or MOTs, all of that. Maybe you have breakdown cover in place. Maybe you have stuff in place for your staff, like staff perks that you do. Any of that, all of that needs to come under your overheads, and you absolutely need to know how much your overheads cost you across a month, and then divide that down by working days. Note, working days. And then you have to attribute that daily cost to the quote that you're pricing up. So this is just your reminder that if you are not doing that at the moment, if you are not costing in your overheads when you are putting a quote together, then you are probably not making a lot of profit. And if you are, another thing on this, particularly at this period of time, is having a shorter acceptance time on quotes, because if the prices suddenly go up and you've left a long, open quote time. So for instance, I used to leave it up to 3 months, I think I had on there initially, because prices weren't going to fluctuate too much between the quarters. So I think it was like up to 3 months for someone to accept a quote at that cost. Now I do 3 weeks most, because things can change quite quickly. And I also do have a clause in there that if suddenly prices do change, then we may have to pass on that cost to the client. If there's nothing we can do, i.e. we can't source something different that's at the same cost, or if there's no other way, then we have to pass that cost on to our clients. So that's also worth bearing in mind when you are putting your quotations together. You need to bear in mind, how long have you left it for the client to make a decision? And this is not a sales pitch. This is not a way to close the sale quickly, although it can be used in that way. This is more to protect you as prices are hiking up in various areas in our industry. So think about that. Think about what you've got written in your quote and what they accept. And also think about how they accept it. Do you get that in writing? Because if you don't, you're not protecting yourself. So it's just a few things to be mindful of. Be mindful of who you're attracting when you are doing your marketing. So if you are offering discounts, is it bringing in the correct type of client, or are you looking for a higher value client for you? In which case I would say do not discount. Secondly, think about where your client is. So think about the client avatar. If you are a member of TLC or been in the community a while, you'll know I've talked about avatars lots and lots of times over the years. And this is really simply getting to grips with who your ideal client is and where they hang out, so you can target them instead of having a scattergun approach. Thirdly, think about site visit fees and whether that can help manage your inquiry levels, whether it can just add a cost in for your time, whether it can improve your sales conversions, or whether it's just something that you could introduce to see if it makes any impact on the business. Fourth, please track. Please look at your inquiry log, see what happens when you do charge site visits and not, where people are coming from, how good your numbers are. Know your numbers, know what your conversion rates are, and know what affects them. So try changing one thing at a time and see if it impacts on sales and inquiry levels. Fifth, look at your pricing. And by that, I mean, check that you are accounting for your overheads and check that you're being honest with the overheads that you're putting down. So I hear lots of people say, oh, it's around about this. No, get your actual facts together, get a cash flow forecast running, and make sure you put that into your quotes. And the last thing is just protect yourself in these times when prices are increasing, making sure you put an end date on that quote that is viable for you. And if you need to, a clause, and also get everything in writing and signed, just to protect yourself. I've had lots of experience in this in my business, and it's just so much easier when everything's signed and sealed and delivered. So that is it for this week's podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it might have made you start thinking about things. If you want help with knowing your numbers, if you want help with building out a cash flow forecast, very simple and easy to do if you know what you're doing, but it could cause quite a lot of overwhelm if you're just literally not sure where to start or how to begin. If you would like help introducing site visit fees, if you just would like help pricing in general, or anything to do with growing and developing your landscaping and design business, get in touch. We currently have an offer running on TLC membership where you get 1 month free if you sign up for 6 months. So you can use code month3 in the checkout option. So if you've been thinking about it for a while, get on board with this offer. It ends on the 3rd of April. So jump on board, come on board TLC, come and join us on our monthly group coaching. That is tomorrow on the 31st of March at 10 a.m. It's always great. And of course, if you want to accelerate your business this year, you need to be part of TLC. This is the only membership created for landscapers, garden designers, horticultural businesses to grow yourselves, your business, and help with everything related to running a landscaping and design business. So get in touch if you want any more information. If you want to join, head over and click join. Everything will be in the show notes. And yeah, I hope you've taken one thing out of today. If you can leave us a review or start a discussion on any of these topics I've brought up, please do. Love a discussion point. So thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you next week.